and the third one is for developers. So I will start in a brief introduction about Copilot, since everyone here is familiar with AI in general. So if anyone is not familiar with AI concepts in general, please let me know so I can go through that. If everyone is fine with that, let me just scroll on to the uh, today's session. Uh, is everyone good with artificial intelligence in general? Do you have anyone who doesn't have or doesn't know anything related to artificial intelligence or the technology in general? I guess not, but let's just start and we'll see how things will go. So our day is day two, which is the Copilot for Microsoft architecture, deployment, security, and compliance. What we will be dealing today is to understand how the Copilot acts. Okay? How does it work? What is the architecture of Copilot? All of us have seen different types of chat generators or chat operators or like ChatGPT or the Bing chat, which is developed by the generative AI to help answering questions and maybe creating some topics, generating different things based on the LLM, which is the large language or the model language, which is the base, which is, we say it is the model that was created by generative AI to have the generative chatting to reply to our questions, maybe help us in doing things. What Microsoft took into their responsibility is creating a co-pilot that can do this. In addition to that, it can go on and be a part of our environment, like an aid or a help that does a lot more than just generating or answering the questions coming from the internet. It just dive deeper. This is what we're going to discuss and we're going to be seeing. Related to the guys or the people who are as administrators, they have some questions that we have, as you remember, I guess Ammar remembers that when we started working with Copilot, we had a lot of questions related mainly to security and how does Copilot secure the environment? How does it answer the questions? Where does it get questions? Especially when we're talking about questions coming from our documents that or files that you are working in emails, on Word, on Excel, whatever. Does it have a line to separate between different users? How does it work? This is what we're going to understand. But first, I'm going to pass through some slides to understand mainly what we're going to discuss in these 4 days related again to people of administration or technical. We're going to be discussing with today the Microsoft Copilot architecture. How is it designed? Where does it get answers from? How does it do that? We're going to understand what is the semantic index for Copilot, how to secure the environment with Microsoft Purview. This is, I guess, it is familiar for the administrators and technical guys. Customer data security and privacy with Copilot, which is very important because the first question or many questions will be asked for the persons who are going to be selling. This is something we'll be discussing with the pre-sales and salespersons. How am I going to be 100% sure that my data doesn't leak from internal user to another internal user, or maybe how does I will be sure that it will not be leaking to the internet. We will see how Microsoft is making sure that this doesn't happen. We'll see the regularity compliance with Copilot planning. Then we're going to have how to deploy the Copilot, because before we deploy Copilot, we need to do pre-steps to deploy the Copilot. We have to study the environment, where is it going to be deployed, how to ensure that the security or the policies we are applying are compliant to our needs or to our administrative needs or to the main targets of our security. Then how do we deploy Copilot? Do we have tools for that? After we deploy the Copilot and it is running for our customers, we have a step which is called after sales service. Maybe if it is not for after sales, for the administrators to monitor the service that was deployed for the employees or for the customers to make sure that they are working with that, taking the most benefits of this environment or this solution they implemented, because sometimes we pay for something and we do not use it. This is something we do not want to happen, because when we deploy the Copilot and understand how important it is and how it makes our lives much easier, and this is something I will prove, and I guess people who have this license within the environment have witnessed that this is true 100%, because it really makes our lives easier comparing to other solutions. By default, the ChatGPT or the Ping chat has 100% proved that it is very efficient. What about the Copilot, which has additional or extended the powers of the Copilot chatting to going and being like an assistant that can do a lot of things for us? And also, we'll need to manage the Copilot for Microsoft. There are some management tools or some management things that we should do as administrators, and will be discussed during the 4 days. So let's jump directly to the Copilot. Please let me know who of you have used the Copilot until now. Let's open the chat and see who of you did that. Let us be interactive in order not to feel I'm talking to the screen. Okay, Rayahin here is saying that she has used it. Can you give us an example, a practical example where it made your life easier or your working easier? Just in a couple of words.
I used it with Excel. يعني I asked it to help me. Before it's been a while to like analyze some data.
Okay. Regarding the technical guys, do we have someone or anybody have used the Copilot?
I think Rami, but he is not here.
Okay. You guys don't have the license for Copilot, or do you have it?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't use it in any aspect or didn't use it in any way for, I mean, not for chatting, not for the questionings and answers. I mean, related to the files that you are handling. Did you use that?
We usually go to ChatGPT if we were
Okay.
working on something. Yeah.
Why do you go to ChatGPT, not Copilot or not the Bing, since it is an advanced and it is using ChatGPT 4.0? It is the same engine, it is the same model. Why do you prefer ChatGPT?
I think familiarity.
Okay, this is the thing related to familiarity. Well, this is okay. We're not far from the ChatGPT. We are talking about an engine that is much more powerful, much more advanced, because as you know, ChatGPT, the free version of ChatGPT is based on 3.5 model, while we're talking about the model 4.0, which is now in Copilot, which does the same as ChatGPT with, as I told you, advanced options. So when we talk about the ChatGPT or the Bing chat, we have a model that is answering all our questions and getting information from the internet. But when we're talking about the Copilot with the license and we have implemented that in our environment, we're talking about a more powerful tool, because it is now using, uh, in addition to the internet, it is using what is called the Microsoft Graph, which is the area where that contains all our information, our files, different type of files that are within the package of the Office 365. It is using all the uh, emails that we are using. It can just go into the power, what we call it, the presenting application that we are using now. ضيعنا اسمها with Word, with Excel, with PowerPoint, with everything. And in addition to that, it doesn't just display it as files. No, it can go deeper into these files and start answering a question related to these files using what is called the semantic approach. We'll be talking about this is a slide that's talking about the AI technology in general, how fast it was. This is the time that any other technologies needed to reach the 100 million users. As you can see here, the Facebook took 4.5 years to reach up to 100 million. The internet needed 7 years, and the mobile phone needed 16 years, while ChatGPT did reach the 100 million users in 3 months. Okay, so this is something very booming, as you can see. And now it is in, I guess this number is multiplied by, I don't know the exact number, but it is surely more deployed, which means that it is efficient. It is being used because it is doing a lot of things. As you can see, here is a brief statistic about numbers, which says that 68% of people said Copilot improved the quality of their work. 70% said Copilot made them more productive, and 77% said they didn't want to give up Copilot. I will just elaborate about this feature or this percentage, which said that made them more productive. I'm talking about myself. Sometimes I would need to start creating anything like a training plan, like a file, a report, whatever. I can't find how to start with that, or what is the initialization method to start with that. All I do is go to ChatGPT or Copilot. Let's skip ChatGPT and start write things related to what I'm talking about, and I start getting ideas from there, and it makes my initialization or starting of what I'm doing easier, more systematic, and I continue working with it. This is what we're talking about when it makes you more productive, because here we are collecting information from millions of examples that are integrated within the model that is being used for the model that we're dealing with, the Copilot or the Bing chat. And this makes us more creative. And for me, for myself, I'm not able, or I don't want to quit using even the Copilot or the ChatGPT or this technology, because it is making my life easier and making me do things much, much faster. And in addition to all that, I just rely on everything I do. I'm just enhanced now by reading the way the Copilot writes a topic, writes an email, generates a sheet in Excel, generates a letter in Word, and there are tons of examples related to that. So here is the, let's say, the environment that was created. Firstly, we had the Copilot, which is, as you can see, includes or can get information or get data or work with the Power Platform, Dynamic 365, M365, Windows Security, and Windows Copilot, and GitHub. All these Copilots are now available and all the applications that we are seeing here. Even without the Copilot license, we can use the Copilot that is in preview or the free version of all of these. And in addition to that, we can also work on the Copilot that is coming from the Azure OpenAI service and the cognitive services. All of these are versions or parts of the family of the Copilot. I don't know the scope or what you have seen until now, but I'm sure most of you can see that with every application you are using coming from Microsoft, we have a Copilot. This Copilot makes it easier for us to use this application, and now it can help us building or starting from zero in any simple or complicated. I like to tell you about the Power Platform, which is an environment that we create application which is basically, which is initially, it is a simple application or a simple platform that helps me create applications with no code or low code environment. All I need to do is to start working directly with this application by starting creating a new project and attaching tables, and it creates applications for me. The addition to that is that we have now the Copilot, which makes my life easier, even starting a new application. Allow me just to show you a sample about the Copilot that is in the Power Platform, because it is very efficient. All I need to do is to type make.powerplatforms or powerapps.com. Here, as you can see, automatically I have this chat, which helps me creating an application. So it is telling me use everyday words to describe what your application should collect, track, or manage. So I would say I need an application to register my daily expenses. Okay, instead of going to directly jumping into creating new tables and creating columns and doing a lot of things, I am not a developer. I don't know anything about that. I just use this message, or this, we call it prompt. Prompt is the way I talk with the Copilot or with the ChatGPT. And the more powerful I am with my prompts, the more efficient results that I will get. The more I explain to the Copilot or to the engine that is I'm working on, the more efficient it will give me results. So I need to be in the middle, not to extend the prompt a lot and not to make it very short. I need to have the power or the intelligence or the knowledge to know how to use the prompting in order to get the best results. And as you go on working with these prompts, the more powerful you will get. And I will give you a resource related to prompting also. So I'm just demonstrating how Copilot can work. As you can see, here Copilot introduced itself. Hello, I am here. I need an application. So here is the tables that I have given to you. This is what I'm here is a table for daily expenses registration. If I need to change anything, delete anything, add anything, all I need also here is to describe what I want to change. As you can see here, I would say add a field for supplier address, let's say, or number, phone number. So you will be seeing that it will be adding this field to my application. Here it is just demonstrating or showing me what it is going to do. I can go on and chat more, add more fields, delete more fields, do whatever I want. Then when I'm satisfied with this preview or this demonstration about my application I'm going to use, again, I tell you, I have no experience in building applications. Here, Copilot is making me creating an application in simple words that I use daily when I am talking to any person. So I'm talking now to the Copilot, which is based on AI and artificial intelligence, and it can understand natural language. This is what is called the natural language. It's understanding what I am typing. And we have also other options. I can just talk to it. And you have seen that, I'm sure, by using the microphone, I can just talk to that and get what I want. This is a demonstration, a quick demonstration about what I mean. And we have a lot of samples of the Copilots integrated within Office and Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and also we have the Windows Copilot. I guess you have seen it on your screens. It is labeled with PRE, which means it is in preview. It is great. It can do a lot and it can help me. And it has also we have also the GitHub version, and we also have the ones coming from Azure, which are in the Open AI, where we can use the Copilot there. We can create our own Copilots. We can create our own application based on the models that are available there. I will show you a demonstration now. Please let me know if you can hear it well by any of you raising the thumb after it starts. So as you have seen now, we have just a demonstration that showed us different things related to Copilot, and this is, I'm sure you have seen that within your own Copilot or your Bing environment where we start any new screen. Here we have, this is the new home screen for anyone who has the Copilot license. As you can see, we have a different screen that comes when we start the Bing or the Edge. We have, I will close all of these. Yes, I will leave. Okay. As you can see here, I have a screen or a start screen that is related to my job. As you can see here, I can see the latest things that I have been working on, maybe Excel sheets or whatever I want. I can just go on and go with discovering or just chatting or working with anything. I have the work field, and here I have the discover field, which will take me to the internet. As you can see here, I can, as an administrator, I can just disable this one and do not allow the users to go to the internet or make the feed just coming from my environment. So this is the new landing screen. And here you can search your environment, okay, by searching for anything. This is the Microsoft search. So examples and many things are related to Copilot. I don't know, again, if you have used that and you are familiar with that, but I'm doing my best to show you everything related to them. So here is the Copilot, what we call it, built on Microsoft comprehensive approach. We have very important uh, components of the Microsoft Copilot. We have, now I'm talking to the guys of administration. We have the security. This is the approach of Microsoft. We have the compliance, and also we have the privacy, which are three main factors I need to take care of, and we will be seeing how does it work with that. And of course, all this is under the responsible AI principles, which are related to fairness or visibility or limits of any of the software that are based on AI. It makes sure that I am secure, my environment is compliant, and every person or every user's privacy is 100% secure, and all of this under the umbrella of the responsible AI approaches or principles. Where are the sources of Copilot? We have the sources that are coming from the LLM, which is the same to the ChatGPT model that we are using. What is added here is the Microsoft Graph. This is a very important thing that is added to the environment, which means that this slide is talking about where is Copilot getting its information, or where is it acting as a co-pilot for Microsoft 365. It is acting on and responding from the large language models, which is the same as the ChatGPT. In addition to that, it will be acting from the Microsoft Graph. The Microsoft Graph is the container that contains every information you use, like the files of Excel, the PowerPoint, the emails, everything related to that. So Copilot now has access to large language model, which is the ChatGPT. Okay, it has also access to Microsoft Graph, which means access to your data, and it also has access to the internet. In addition to that, it has access to Microsoft 365 applications. What is under that umbrella and what level of licensing you have, the Microsoft Pilot can work with all of these. The most important thing related to what I'm talking about is the Microsoft Graph. Here comes the role of the Microsoft Copilot, where it creates connections between your files. Like, for example, when we're working on a, let's say, a proposal for any of our clients, we have a meeting with that client. We have sent this client an Excel sheet, maybe containing any presentation, any data related to the project. And then we have sent him like a proposal or some license agreements. We have sent files in Word, in Excel, in PowerPoint, and whatever. Here comes the role of Copilot Semantic, which will connect the dots between your different files or productions related to that project. So we have here a project, we have files related to that project, we have meetings related to that project, we have emails related to this project. So simply, you can go on to ChatGPT and ask it to just notify me or update me about, let's say, any of the projects that we have, about XYZ project. So because Copilot has built the semantic connections between my different files, it now can know or can understand which files are related to which product. So it will be giving you a summary about things that you have been using and related specifically to that project and other things. So also I can just write a file and add it to the environment, send an Excel on email. I can just go on chatting within Microsoft Team. So instead of me going through all these chats and opening these files and just reading or reviewing the recorded videos, all of that is now done by the Copilot. And what is important for us today as administrators or technicals is to know how to protect these informations not leaking from a user to another user without having the permission. So as technicians or as administrators, we start before implementing the Copilot by making sure that my data or our data or the user's data and logging options and permissions and rules are well maintained or studied or planned before we start using the Copilot. Why is that? Because Copilot follows the security principles or protocols or permissions and configuration and compliance rules that you have created within your environment. So what applies to other Microsoft applications applies totally on the Copilot. So what you have planned for the users, what they see, what they can access, what they can edit, what they can delete, this is where Microsoft Copilot goes and sees and takes information from. So this is the architecture. As I told you, we have the LLM model and we have the Microsoft 365 Copilot. They work together. So it can take information from the grounded data. I will be telling you what is the grounded data or what is the RAG, retrieval augmented generation, is a natural language processing technique that combines the strength of data retrieval and generative based on artificial intelligence model, which means that the information that you are adding to the Copilot are the information that are coming from your files. These are the grounded data. The data coming from the LLM are the data coming from the LLM, while the data that are being grounded within your environment are the information or the files that you are using. So it can access this information and it can start applying all the LLM techniques or the generative AI techniques, which refers to processing this information and giving you as much as relevant or accurate answers coming from your information. So the user prompts we use, okay, when you prompt, when you type, when you add, when you just do anything with this Copilot, plus the grounded data that you have within your environments and the chat histories and the system prompts, all of these create what is called the environment related to your or to the answers that you are going to have. Okay? Am I clear? Is everything clear until now? Do you have any questions? Okay. As I told you about the prompts, let me move Mr. Mustafa from here. As I told you, the prompts are and sizes. So you do not need to exceed, I guess, 2000 characters in each prompt. But do we need a prompt that is that size? I don't know. Maybe sometimes when we're giving just a text file or a file to be analyzed, translated, whatever I want to do that, it will be used in the prompt. But what we need to have to keep in mind is that the Copilot prompts are instructions or questions we use to tell Copilot what we want. So prompts can include a lot of parts: the goal, the context, the expectation, and the source. The goal is something very clear. The context, which means that what am I talking about? So when I'm talking with the chat GPT and this something happened with a lot of you or with any of these generative AI solutions, I need to keep the track about what I'm talking or to keep the track on what I'm talking about. Sometimes I start the chat with something and the context is lost because maybe I have asked a questions or added something that made this context go away or makes the model responses away from what I want. So what I expect is to always be on the track in order to get the best answers. Uh, I leave this to you because I think that you have seen that a lot. What I want you to know is that we have the prompting and we have courses related to prompting and we have also what is called prompt engineering, because prompting is not just asking questions and getting answers. No, prompting is sometimes we have to prompt or to add information to the model, but this is not available or doable on Copilot, while it is doable on ChatGPT, because on Copilot you cannot add the LLM or edit the LLM because it is like a read-only model that we can get information from. our chats or our prompts are saved temporarily within our own uh, profile, let's say, as a user, and it is not being used to train any model. That's why Microsoft says that your information is always secure. So what you do or what you prompt or what you use within the Copilot is being used only for you and it is not being shared. Let me show you something related to the prompts. I prepared something for you. This is the thing. Wait for me. Ammar was talking about this annoying today. We have what is called the Copilot Lab. We can access it. This is a place where you can just test all the prompts that you want and see the prompts that are already prepared by Microsoft. This will make you talk easier to the, I will drop that on the chat if you will need it. It will make you chat easier within, let me drop it on the chat. Okay. So as you can see here, we have some videos related what you can do with Copilot. Let me go scroll down directly to the, as you can see here, we have the art of prompting. We have powerful prompts. These are some of the prompts that you can use. Okay, as you can see here, and we can explore the Copilot for Microsoft 365. These are the prompts that we can use in each and every one of these applications that we have. As you can see here, all you need is to select which of these prompts you are interested in. As you can see here, we have the prompts to try. This is the Copilot Lab. Okay, you can select the application. Let's say we need to prompt with Outlook. As you can see, draft an email. This is the best way to write a prompt with Copilot. Reply to an email, write a product launch. As you can see here, we have different types of prompts for Word persons who work with Word. As you can see, all I need to select is the word. Okay. Understand, quickly summarize. So these are the prompts. I sent you the related file related to that, and you can just go and study and see what prompt suits you the best. So this is the Microsoft graph. This is what I'm talking about. As you can see here, this is the graph that empowers the Copilot how to create or how to answer questions coming from our calendars, from Teams, from persons, or from Viva, and here we have the Outlook, the Word, and even with Microsoft Search. So all these files that you have, let's say you have uh, an appointment, you have sent an email, you have created a file, you have chatted with someone, you have an Excel file, you have an appointment. All these, as you can see, are connected together. This connection is created automatically by the semantic, and it can connect the dots between all your files. And whenever you ask any questions related to any of these, since they are connected, it will logically give you the answer related to that. This Microsoft graph, for example, I will give you example that will be used with the developer team. Let's say now we have the license for Microsoft Copilot. and we need to create an application that we can use internally, like an application for, let's say, book selling, that the books that CTS sells for the customers or for the schools. We can create this application, implement this application on our environment and teams, and we can add also what we call extensions to that application, the way that will give me the power to even ask or edit or add things to that environment using the cards. I know this is not something related to you, but with the power of the Graph API, we have what is called the Graph API, which in addition to the connections that it automatically creates between different applications that I have, I can also add my own connections and get information and answers from that environment. So what I mean by that, I have created this application within my environment, and Copilot already knows about this application. It can connect to it. I can add more power to that application. I can add things like extensions and graph APIs to dig deeper into that. I will give you an example. I guess one of our clients once asked that they need to have an application that extracts information from the team chats or the team meetings they have. So now when we go to Teams, we can go to Teams. Let me show you my Teams screen. As you can see here, this is the Teams screen. As you can see here, we have the Copilot on our Teams screen. I don't see it. Okay, now you can see it. As you can see here, we have the Copilot within our Teams environment. If I press on that, I can I can ask some questions. It can give me some answers related to the links or to the semantics it created between my different components of Microsoft tenant. So if I ask a question with Copilot, it can answer me. But there are some limits for these answers or for the questions it can extract from my environment. If I am a developer and I have the power of development, I can use what is called Microsoft Graph API in order to connect to any of the components or the applications that I have within my environment and dig deeper with these questions and get more information. Again, I will talk to you about the projects that we had with a client. It was just a proposal, but what we could do is that adding the Copilot extensions and the Graph APIs to our environment, we could connect with what is called the Microsoft Graph API with Microsoft Teams. From there, when we connect with that API to Teams, I can dig deeper and answer questions that are deeper and that are not automatically generated by the what is called the Copilot Studio. With the power of Graph API and another tool, which is the extensions for Teams, we can just dig deeper into information and we can create within our teams or within our applications some extensions that give us more power that can extract information, edit information, and even do actions on that application or any application that I have within that. So what I had in mind as a solution for the company or for client that asked for that, they need to have some more details related to how many students there were, how when did they log in and they log out, the chat, maybe some of the chat or the features of the chat. So with Copilot, I can answer some of these questions, but when I use Graph API, I can use them, I can answer almost any of these questions. What I had in mind is to create a Graph API and connect it to Power BI, and then we have this environment connecting the Graph API based on the chats or on the Microsoft Teams and connected to Power BI, where I will be extracting this information from the Teams meeting into Power BI, and I will show the client a Power BI dashboard that includes any questions or any answers or any reports, because we can create dashboards and can create reports. All I need is to have the link between the Copilot, a Graph API, and the application I'm intending to use, which in our case now is the Microsoft Teams. So with this power of the Microsoft Graph, I could do what I wanted, and I can apply that in different places. Imagine what you want, and you can see a lot of things coming. So this is the Copilot. As you can see, I can prompt it. It can answer me. Here you can see the types of prompts that I can use. As you can see here, we have a plugin, which is the sales plugin. I can enable it. It gives more power. I will not be talking about that. So here are the places where I can just be prompting. I can get answers from Copilot by thanks to the Microsoft Graph. But when I go with the Graph API, I can go deeper and have, let me say, any type of answers or questions that I want from the Copilot. So Copilot is not limited. This is what I want you to understand. Copilot can be empowered and it can be given like wings to go deeper into our environment, to my environment, under again the umbrella of the security that I have. So this is the role of the guys today, is to make sure that the environment is well protected. This is what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So are we okay with Copilot or Microsoft Graph? Let me see. Let me see your.
Yes, all clear until now, Khaled. Thank you so much.
Okay.
But the plan is for the upcoming sessions is to show us how to set up any structure for the client. Yani, for example, if we are providing Copilot to any institution, we need to understand how to set up from technical point of view, how to set up the structure
This is
and set the
I
right
guess in the
permissions.
third day you will be demonstrating with the admin portal. But what we're showing now is like the main steps that we should understand in order to know what we are doing. So it is
Clear.
100% we're
Okay,
going to see how to apply it, how to monitor it, and how to do everything related to that. Okay?
perfect. Thank you so much, Khaled.
Okay. So this is how things do. The user sends a prompt to Copilot. The Copilot will be grounding this information by sending this information to Microsoft Graph, or this prompt will be sent to the Microsoft Graph in order to get the answers from. If we have plugins, also it will be passing through it. And if the information is coming from any dataverse that we have or Power Platform services, so user prompts are sent to Copilot. Copilot accesses the graph and optional web and other services for grounding in order to check the grounding, which means that check the accuracy of the answers. Then Copilot sends modified prompt to the LLM model to check with the LLM model. Again, LLM model, when we're talking about LLM model, we're talking or saying, let's say, Microsoft ChatGPT version. Okay? Copilot receives the LLM. Copilot accesses the graph to see if the answers are compliant to or the answers can be delivered to that the person who is requesting or prompting for answers. So the most important thing here about what we're talking today is that Copilot accesses the graph for compliance and pure view to check if the client has the permission to get this information. And if it's okay, Copilot then sends back the response to the user. So what we need to understand is that we have the Copilot, and we have it enabled within our environment. So can I ask any question about Ammar's files or about Rayahin's files or Srimanti or Anya? No, I can't, because the administrator has, before installing the Copilot license and deploying it for the user, he or she has made a plan for compliance and security, which specifies the roles, the permissions of each one of us. So information from Ammar will not be leaked to my prompts or anyone to anyone's else prompts. So this is the way it works. So this is the stack we're talking about. The Microsoft, we'll start from the AI infrastructure, of course. Here are the models that we're talking about, the plugin and extensions or plugin executions for additional information or for extensions. The grounding, then we have everything will be get by a user interface or the user experience that we have, which is the Bing or the Copilot Studio. This is something like we have described or explained, but this is just a demonstration how things will be working. Okay. What will I need to explain now is what is the semantic. I have been mentioning this uh, word a lot. The semantic index is a feature of Microsoft 365 that uses the Microsoft Graph to better interact with our information or organizational data. It creates like an index that enables for the future search. يعني, what I mean by that, when semantic index goes into the Microsoft Graph, it starts applying some logical connections between the files and the components for every file that it has for each user within this Microsoft Graph. So let's say again, the example that I have told you about, I have a project that is called CCS. This project, I have some emails, some Excel files, some Word files. I have different projects with CCS, and each of these project has its own title. So the main thing will be the title. Then the details within that, under that title would be like presentations, like meetings, like emails, like Word files and Excel files. And this is related to CCS. And I have another project related to a technology that is in common between CCS and ACT, which is, let's say, artificial intelligence. So the semantic index would be knowing that I am using the artificial intelligence technology for CCT and for ACT or CCTS. I don't know, just ignore the names. So this is a way of connecting between these two projects. Another way is that when it goes deeper to the files that I have within these two different projects, I witnessed that, or Copilot or the semantic index would see that we have, like, let's say, a study about artificial intelligence that is being used in these two components. Within that study, we have some words that can be combined, some things that are related together. I will give you another example that I always give about when I'm teaching the AI 900, which is related to artificial intelligence. Let's say we are now preparing a database for, let's say, food. Everything we eat goes underline the food category. But when we just start subcategorizing, we have fruit, we have, let's say, carbohydrates, we have sugar, we have blah, blah, blah. So if I get you and if give you an any item that you might need to put within this database or within this model, I would say I will give a banana, an apple, and a pie. The banana and the apple directly would go to the fruits. Okay, would go under the category for fruits. But the apple pie, where would it go? It can go under carbohydrates. It can go under, or it has a link with carbohydrates. It has a link with sweets. It has a links with also fruits, and mainly it is under the food. So all these connections, or small connections, or mini connections, or major connections, are being used to connect the information about that. So if I ask the Copilot, I need to eat something sugary, or I need to eat something sweet. So it will directly, because it has connected that apples are sweet, bananas are sweet, the apple pies are sweet, the sugar are sweet, it will go and answer me. Okay, I can just propose to you and give you examples. You can eat a banana, you can eat an apple, you can eat a pie, or maybe you can have a sugar spoon or a spoon of sugar. منطق, right? It is logical. This is how the semantic index works. It just connects everything it can to anything it has a common thing with it. So the more powerful the index that I have, the more answers I can get. I guess you are not bored with my explanation. Is it clear?
واضحة 100%.
Okay, semantic index for Copilot. As you can see here, it's just showing you how it connects things together. Uh, Semantic index, it's tenant-wide and user-scoped vector indicates that you can see how it connects things to each other, groups, security, devices, files, events, whatever. User and tenant signals and relationships, semantic and similarities around the content, ranking and relevance, security and permissions across documents, chats, so it can work around all the components of the environment.
Semantic index for
I will show you a demonstration, but let me mute myself to give you better.
Copilot creates a sophisticated map of your personal and company data, identifying relationships and making important connections. In fact, your brain works like a semantic index by encoding multiple words and pictures to create a larger conceptual map of information. For example, a semantic map of what the average person knows about elephants would include things like elephants have trunks, and elephants travel in herds, and elephants live in Africa. Today, people are mostly familiar with keyword search, which relies on exact words and phrases. So, when you search for March sales report, you get a list of documents that include exactly those 3 words. But a semantic index understands that sales reports are produced by Kelly on the finance team and published each month as an Excel file. And it encodes all of these concepts and relationships between concepts in vectors in the index. Semantic Index for Copilot analyzes your data. That's all your emails, documents, calendar, chats, and more in the Microsoft Graph, and uses a large language model, or LLM, to map all your content and the relationships between your content and you, searching through billions of vectors to find the most relevant results in milliseconds. It's what enables Microsoft 365 Copilot to deliver personalized, relevant, and actionable responses, and do so in a secure, compliant, privacy-preserving way. Semantic Index for Copilot enables every organization to be AI ready.
As you have seen, this is the difference between the keyword search and the semantic. I guess it was clear. I guess it is obvious for everyone. I hope so. So this is the end of today's sessions. Tomorrow we'll be starting with more things related to security. Tomorrow's session is dedicated 100% how to apply the security within our own environments or our client's environment. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. Do you have any questions?
No questions from my end. Thank you.
Okay. Any of the ladies or gentlemen here, do you have any questions? anyway, even they are sleeping or they are bored from my explanation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ammar.
Welcome.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Technical.
Thank you, Khalid. يعطيك العافية. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Khalid.
You're welcome.